there, and they whitewashed it and refused to prosecute or move any further with it. And that's what we got on the back end from the FBI directly in reference to that. So this guy was allowed to do the things he was allowed to do because he has relatives in the police department that have been in the rank and file for years above him, and he's been allowed to do whatever he wanted to do over those time frames.
Nepotism. That's all in city government. That's all in every agency.
But the thing is this, this is one of the reasons we're having the problems that we're having now in law enforcement today. I mean, you have to understand that, during the struggle, during the fight, we, as officers, you have a responsibility. Your responsibility is supposed to uphold and, uphold the law and enforce the law, not to create your own laws.
Well, so hold that thought right there. We've got so many calls. Hold on, Sister Van Green. All right. Thank you for holding on for this Elevation Radio 1. You're live.
Hello?
Yes, you're live.
Hello? Oh, okay. I apologize.
You're live on radio.
Okay. My name's Sharon Black. I wanted to call in. I wanted to thank the pastor for this program of getting out the truth about this case. I think that Ms. Green talking, I think one of the crucial pieces she just put out there, and that is that the main witnesses have now recanted. And in my opinion, at least, is that, we need to put some political pressure for immediate release. Compassionate release is one avenue that they can utilize to get Mr. Green home where he belongs. I mean, right now he has cancer, and I know that his companion has stated. And also, they need to vacate these charges. And then I'm just going to say this on the behalf of the People's Power Assembly. I remember our very first assembly after Trayvon Martin was murdered. A large number of people showed up. And one of the things that kept echoing, and it took decades before they even said it was true, and that is that a lot of the police were stealing people's property. So, I mean, there's these false charges, these pressures, all the other kind of corruption, but it's been going on for a very long time, and it's only been after the Freddie Gray case that some of this stuff has come to light with the gun task trace force. So, I mean, we're in it really to get Mr. Green home where he belongs. I cannot commend Pastor for you doing this program, with all my heart and soul. I want to say that because this is just a miscarriage of justice. And really, everybody said that, he has been innocent. But especially the police officers that's there's a lot of political, this must have been at the time, I wasn't around at the time, a very political charged case. The victims were, of course they were poor, but, they were white from O'Donnell Heights.
Oh.
So I can imagine sort of the political atmosphere that must have existed then to make sure that they found somebody to pin this on. And so, it's time for a change now, and it's a shame that we have, we're only hearing about this now, and it's a shame it's taken so long. But, I'm going to say this, I'm going to go out on a limb. We are going to get, and when I say we, I mean all of you in the studio there, and, of course, really the real person is Mrs. Green. We're going to get Mr. Green home where he belongs. He needs to be out of that jail. That's my only two cents. Thank you.
Amen. And we need to do it now while it's an election year, too.
Absolutely.
I consider him Baltimore's POW.
Yep.
He's a prisoner of war. Well, thank you, Dr. Green, for calling in. I appreciate it.
Sharon Black,
all right.
Not any doctor.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you anyway.
I'm a nurse.
Oh, well,
not a
there you go.
Okay,
You're a healer.
thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for calling in. All right. Got so many calls here. This is very interesting. A lot of people here. Hold on a second. Board is lit up. Okay, hold on a second. You are live on Elevation Radio 1. How can we help you? Phone number 4. Can you hear us? You're live on radio. 410-662. Talking to you.
Hi, my name is Joyce Butler. I couldn't hear. My name is Joyce Butler. And what I want to say is I think one of the things we need to address is this disparity in sentencing as it relates to our Caucasian men versus black men. Now, they had no evidence to convict Miss Van's husband, but yet he sits in jail. And I've witnessed case after case after case because there is a person and they're African American, they're a black man, they'll get 100 years for a crime that a white man will get a considerably less amount of time. We need to address this disparity in sentencing.
Outlet.
Yes. We need to address that situation. You know, a lot of our brothers, are in jail, and they don't need to be there. They don't need to be there. Ma'am, I'm on the radio. Yes.
Well,
okay, go ahead.
I was going to say one of the reasons I took a tour when I used to work for the mayor's office out at Jessup, and I ran into a German guy who was the head of statewide use industries. And I discovered that in statewide use industries, most of the prisoners are making tags and making cherry-wood furniture. That cherry-wood furniture goes to places like Johns Hopkins and corporate America and corporate places here in Baltimore. So it's nothing more than indentured slavery. They only paid him $1 and some change. That was back then. And I said, what are you doing? How much do you pay him? And he said what he paid him. I said, that's not any real money because when you lock the husband up or the boyfriend or the baby's daddy, you lock up the entire family. How can they survive?
Absolutely.
He wasn't too happy with me.
I agree. Absolutely.
We've got your point, and I appreciate it, and I thank you. I must roll on now. But thank you for calling Elevation Radio 1. Bless you. All right now. All righty. So many calls here. Ms. Green? Let's see here. My goodness. Okay. So many calls. My digital board has frozen up. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, you're live with Elevation Radio 1, 443. How can we help you?
Yeah. Hey, Pat Steve. Hey, Ms. Van. Alex Summerfield. I'm a local activist and attorney. I was on a different radio show with Ms. Van a couple of weeks ago, and Ms. Joyce, who just called in, actually. Great people, terrific show. I'm affiliated with People's Power Assembly, like Ms. Black. Ms. Sharon Black, just want to say a couple things. First, I think it's important for Ms. Van to also talk about what her husband is going through right now in regards to being in prison and having health issues during the COVID crisis. And the prisons have really let down and failed entirely prisoners from a health perspective, as if, and you just said, Pat Steve, as if it wasn't already indentured servitude and terrible. So I think that part of it's important. And about Sean Suter, really quickly, it's, I think it's important for at least, I believe that he was murdered, and I think it's really crazy that there's this connection, this James Lloyd connection, between the case he was sent to jail for, Sean Suter's case, and Mr. Green's case. I mean, that's a lot of smoke around one guy. You know what they say about, who smoke there's fire. So just want to put it out there. Great show. Thanks for hearing me out.
Oh, it's no problem, sir. No problem. Thank you for calling. And we want to say that James Lloyd had a contract to do some work on his patio, and he didn't like it at some point. I think his wife wanted it to be larger. His girlfriend or whomever. So basically trying to get the guy said, it'll be $1,500 more. So he didn't really want to pay it. And so he wanted all his money back. Then the guy said, well, then they negotiated down to $3,500. So he eventually came with basically 3 other homicide detectives to the man's house, or when the man came over to his house to talk about it. He strong-armed him with three other homicide detectives flashing their badges and guns and forced him to get into his police vehicle. Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
And took him to his bank, which is all the way down in Glen Burnie, to withdraw, get a cashier's check And he actually stole him. He got the man's ID, one seat ID, and he said, "Well, your license is suspended, and you shouldn't be driving. And if you don't give me my money back, I'm going to arrest you for having a suspended license." So, and I'm going to tow your car. So that was the pressure to put on the man. And so he when he went into the bank to get the cashier's check, he forgot that Lloyd has ID, so he had to go back out and get the ID from Lloyd. And Lloyd signed the back of the check with his account and actually gave him a receipt. At least it was, administratively correct that way. But he also tied himself. He's sure he's a detective. He tied himself to this guy. Did you think you would get away with that? Because you got away with so many other things like this case here. So why not do it again?
At the time he was an officer. Yeah, at the time he was an officer, and then he became a detective, and then I don't know why he had to begin a sergeant. That was new to me.
He got promoted. And he got in charge of the homicide detective. Maybe that's why we can't solve any murders here, because folks are too busy trying to strong-arm kidnap innocent people. Now, according to this case, when this case came out on Fox 45 and Channel 11, the commissioner who wouldn't respond to you responded here and said, people, he was going to be suspended without pay, and he suspended all the other detectives and administrative suspension. And the mayor, Jack Young, the acting mayor, the empty chair mayor, who really should be in the chair, said he had a response to the media, the mainstream media, and said that he was sickened and appalled by what happened, and he endorsed the commissioner's response. So if he could respond to main media, why couldn't he respond to a black woman in a city that's predominantly black? What's the problem?
Sure.
Oh my goodness. Hold on thought. We've got so many calls here. All righty. Elevation Radio 1, you're live. You're live on radio. You've got 3 seconds. Okay, let's go to another call. All right. Elevation Radio 1, you're live on radio. You're live. How can we help you? Okay, Ms. Green, tell me more about your story here.
So, in the course of my husband having two attorneys, we later found out that he has colon cancer. So, fighting against the jails, trying to get him the proper care that he needed to get him out of the jail to be seen, they were trying to treat him inside of the jail. To find out that some of the guys on the tier had COVID. So they felt that was important for them to treat the COVID versus him bleeding almost to death, losing so much blood. He got so weak that he passed out, and they finally got him out of the jail. It took for that to happen, for them to get him out of the jail to take him to Bon Secours Hospital. And they later found out that he had colon cancer, which now he's still fighting because he doesn't have the proper care that he needs to, because the doctor stated in his records this man needs to be treated regularly for his cancer, because he's not going to get the proper care while he's being held in there. So they have been trying to get this thing where to get the transportation going on to get him transported from the jail to the doctors to be seen, because now he needs to see a primary care doctor other than taking him to the ER or just waiting for him to bleed again for it to happen, the passing out or the pressure going up or switching him on tons of medication. He has sent so much medication home for me to get an outside doctor to see why are they giving him this medication, what is it used for, and why is he having these side effects. And I have did so, and they give you a medication for something else, but not really what it is that he has. he went a second attorney who supposed to had did